holiday hoops in Cancun, Mexico. Bienvenidos. Welcome to the Cancun Challenge at the all-inclusive Moon Palace Resort. Cleveland State Vikings, Kentucky Wildcats, our first game of a doubleheader on the CBS College Sports Network. Welcome inside the Moon Palace. Hello, I'm Thad Anderson. This is Coach Rich Zavosik. And Coach, what a fabulous venue for a college basketball tournament.
It is unbelievable. And to think, my last year in coaching, I went to Alaska. No wonder I'm no longer coaching. Cancun is beautiful. It's 80 degrees. I just hope the players aren't sunburned.
It's going to be fun tonight. A couple of players on each side, Cleveland State, Kentucky, all kinds of talent, but a few we're going to look at in the Palace Resort Star Watch.
Well, Norris Cole for Cleveland State has picked up where their 5 seniors left off last year. Dropped 38 against Sam Houston State, averaging 21 a game. He's their go-to guy. And then for Kentucky, you got Patrick Patterson. Comes back for another year, leading the country in rebounding, leading the country in field goal percentage. He's a guy that Cleveland State has to control tonight if they have a chance to win.
From the beach to basketball, Cleveland State, Kentucky up next on the CBS College Sports Network. Welcome back to Cancun, Mexico. The Cancun Challenge presented by Triple Crown Sports. Time for tip-off. Cleveland State and Kentucky on the hardwood at the Moon Palace Resort. Going to be fun today, Coach. And today for Kentucky, it's been talked a lot about their youth. 3 freshmen in the starting lineup to tip this thing off.
Three freshmen, but a National Player of the Year candidate in Patrick Patterson, a returning junior.
DeMarcus Cousins in the center jump circle, joined in there by Aaron Pogue. Here is the starting lineup for the Vikings of Cleveland State. Harmon, Brown, and Cole at guard positions for the Vikings. Wildcats on their starting side. There you see the 5 in the mix. 3 of those freshmen. Darius Miller, Eric Bledsoe, John Wall in the backcourt sequence for the Wildcats to start this one off. Here is the toss. Here comes the tap to kick off the Cancun Challenge. Wildcats in the home white control the first possession. Tangle up on the right elbow, and a couple of guys down on the elbows. It took a foul call. Will come out of the gates. Cleveland State, that will be charged to Jared Cunningham, a junior out of Oregon City, Oregon. He's got his first personal, and it'll be out of bounds for the Wildcats. Inbounding the basketball, Eric Bledsoe. Cousins up top to Miller, no good. Darius Miller missed it long. Out of bounds, rebounded by Coach Gary Waters, and it goes to Cleveland State. First-year head coach of the Wildcats of Kentucky, John Calipari, on the sidelines. We'll talk more about both coaches as the game moves along. A couple of great coaches on the sidelines today.
You can see Kentucky is going to try and pressure them up court, try and create some offense from their defense.
Handling the ball is Norris Cole, a junior guard out of Dayton, Ohio. He is the spearhead of the offense and of the team so far this year through 4 games for Cleveland State. Talented player. 3 ball on the way. No good for Trey Harmon. Offense controls the rebound. DeAndre Brown from way outside with just 2 on the shot clock. And nearly pulling down another. Vikings couldn't hold it. Here come the Cats. That's John Wall with the basketball on the center court logo, guarded by Trey Harmon. So many storylines to talk about on both sides. John Wall, you could spend most of the first half talking about him, the talented freshman out of Word of God in North Carolina. Another missed shot. No score on the board yet. And another miss as both teams cannot find the twine. Ball taken away by DeAndre Brown. Vikings have possession in the half court. Well, so far Cleveland State has, we got 0-0, but Cleveland State has looked solid in matchup.
Well, Cleveland State has shown some patience in the half court. They're going to have to get some productivity from their inside guys. A guy like Pogue is big enough to score inside. Just a little bit too quick right there.
Aaron Pogue, the good-looking sophomore out of Dayton, Ohio, played at Dunbar High School. Called for the travel as he falls down in the paint. To this point, combined, the teams are 0 for 5 from the floor. Kentucky has missed 2 shots. For Cleveland State, they've missed 3 shots.
Kentucky has a distinct size advantage. They've got to try and take the advantage of it, get the ball into Patterson, get it into Cousins, and try and create some easy ones in the paint.
Patterson, the preseason All-American. There's Wall, good dish. Cousins, uno. DeMarcus Cousins finishes, the freshman from Mobile, Alabama. He'll have the first crack at a free throw, and he's also got the first basket of the game. And he's been very strong early going.
Great penetration by Wall. Easy one for Cousins, a chance for a three-point play. You can see why John Wall already had one game earlier this year with an 11 assists.
Rebounded by Pogue on the free throw miss. Layup is good. Count the basket for DeAndre Brown. A little contest on his way to the rim, but good finish by Brown, the junior forward. And we got a 2-2 basketball game. It's the Cancun Challenge on the CBS College Sports Network. Thad Anderson, Rich Zavosic joining you from Cancun, Mexico at the Moon Palace Resort. Basketball in a ballroom. Bledsoe drives, kicks it back out. Wildcats have had some turnover trouble early in the year. That aggressive offensive style would do that. Here is the turnover on the offensive foul by John Wall. His first personal foul.
Great play by Harmon, moving his feet, drawing the charge. He's the defensive stopper. He's the guy who has to contain John Wall in order for Cleveland State to have a chance here today.
That's Norris Cole with the basketball at center court. The Wildcats through 4 games, 77 turnovers, averaging almost 20 a game. One of the many things that Coach Calipari has been teaching with some fervor, trying to develop his squad. There's Norris Cole with the basket, and the Cleveland State Vikings have their first lead of the game at 4-2. We're 3 minutes into this one. Cleveland State of the Horizon League against the SEC's Kentucky Wildcats. Alley-oop, Cousins, another basket.
Kentucky jumps right back into the press, trying to make this an up-tempo game.
Pogue, nice pass. Reverses blocked out of there by Patterson. The shot attempt from DeAndre Brown. There's a deflection out of bounds by Norris Cole. Big block by Patrick Patterson underneath.
You can see a great backdoor pass. Patterson on the weak side comes over and smashes it into the glass.
DeMarcus Cousins leading the Wildcats in blocks to this point in the season. Patterson athletic and all around the hoop on defense. That was a nice stop. Great dish down low by Pogue. Big defense by Patterson. Wall dribbles up top. Here's another lob inside. Patterson had it deflected. Well, a height advantage probably almost everywhere they go this year for the Wildcats. They're trying to use that a couple of lobs inside early.
Well, you can take away the inside a couple of different ways. You either got to get better ball pressure on the passer, or you got to help each other on those back screens. Little miscommunication by Cleveland State. Patterson takes advantage of it.
Nigel Aguirre, a forward, a sophomore, checked into this game moments ago, picked up that foul, his first foul. Patterson at the line. He's no good on a 2-shot foul. Patterson from the line, you know, if there's a spot so far where you've seen Achilles heel, he's only 11 of 22 now on the season from the free throw stripe, 50% for the big man. He's shooting 74% from the floor, just 50% now from the free throw line.
I mean, think about it. If he's shooting 70% from the line, his average, instead of being 19, he's probably averaging about 23 or 24.
Fantastic player. Averaging a very firm double-double so far this year with 19 points a game and 12.5 rebounds per game. That's not one of those just barely average double-double. He is firmly in double digits in both those categories. Hits one of the free throws. Kentucky 5, Cleveland State 4. Inside it goes, and out it goes from DeMarcus Cousins, swatting the shot of Nigel Aguirre.
I tell you, when you have a big guy like Cousins in the back, you can gamble up front because he can erase your mistakes as he did right there.
Yeah, the Cousins and Patterson sandwich on Aguirre. That is some tough basketball to play. 6'9 and 6'11 all around you. There's a foul call. Wildcats will pick it up, and that will be Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins picks it up, and that will be foul number 1 for DeMarcus. Here's Gary Waters, Cleveland State Vikings head coach.
Incredible job that he's done. Going to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1986 for Cleveland State and knocking off Wake Forest double digits.
Cole short on the jumper, pulled down by Patterson. Pogue is going to pick up the foul. And we got a timeout. Kentucky 5, Cleveland State 4 at the Cancun Challenge in Mexico. Strolling the beach at the Moon Palace Resort in Cancun. And then heading inside for some NCAA Division I men's basketball. Glad you're with us here as we approach Thanksgiving, watching Kentucky take on Cleveland State. The Wildcats with a 1-point lead. Just under 16 minutes to go first half. So far for Kentucky, 2 of 4 from the floor. They're being out-rebounded 6-3. Here's Patterson left side, no go. Cousins over the back on the follow, and that's going to be 2 fouls against DeMarcus Cousins.
I like Kentucky's attack coming out of that timeout. Go inside, take advantage of your size. Cousins a little bit late, a little bit too big. On his back, good call by the official.
Nigel Aguirre getting up 5 inches, had the inside position on that rebound and was bumped from behind. So Cousins with his second foul will head to the bench, and that will bring in Daniel Orton, who had a great game in their most recent win over Rider on Saturday. Cleveland State with the basketball. They are 2 of 8 from the floor, but they've out-rebounded Kentucky 6-3 to this point. They've kept it a 1-point game, but just the 2 of 8 shooting to kick this off. There's a foul. That'll be a Cleveland State foul. A lot of names and storylines in this one. A couple of key difference makers in this ball game. As we move through the game today, Coach, we'll see some different faces contribute.
Aaron Pogue is a guy who can present problems for Kentucky. He's a guy who can get a double-double, had 11 and 10 against Florida A&M, very skilled. He's a guy who has to play well today.
John Wall on the flip side will be a big story for Kentucky, has been ever since he moved toward the campus in Lexington. That basket there is Daniel Orton. We'll take a look at that bucket as his foul is called against the Wildcats.
Again, very good weave action. Wall on the penetration. Help comes. Excellent dish. Orton with the easy 2.
Darius Miller picks up the foul, the sophomore guard out of Maysville, Kentucky, his first foul of the contest. 4 team fouls for Kentucky, 5 fouls for Cleveland State in this game. Already approaching bonus time with over 14 minutes to go. Inside, Aguirre works the paint, floats it. Rebounded in there by Ramon Harris, who's earned a lot of playing time based on his hustle and defensive play.
Good transition defense by Cleveland State. Gets the steal.
Aguirre out to Cole, bounces it out of bounds. That'll be a turnover back to Kentucky as the pass flew past DeAndre Brown.
Situation like that, you got numbers on the break. Just get the ball up on the rim. If you miss, you got a teammate there to clean it up.
Cleveland State with opportunities in this one, but just 2 of 9 from the floor now. And down by 3 to the Wildcats. 7-4 with the basketball. Traveling violation. Darius Miller slid the foot. Here's Coach John Calipari sending in substitution. This will be a re-entry for Eric Bledsoe back on the court. He'll replace Darius Miller. So Wall, Harris, Bledsoe, Orton, and Patterson on the floor right now for Kentucky. Cleveland State, the inbounders, DeAndre Brown gets it to Jared Cunningham. Norris Cole in the backcourt along with Jeremy Montgomery in the game, and Nigel Aguirre in for the Vikings. Cole, deep 3, too strong. Tip on the rebound, handled by Montgomery from Cunningham. Cleveland State hustling after the basketball.
They're doing a very good job of understanding long shots create long rebounds. Kentucky getting themselves caught underneath the basket too often here early.
Montgomery left side had a seam, draw some contact. That ball will come down to Ramon Harris. A couple of rebounds for Harris since he checked in. His typical game. Not a big offensive attack yet for Harris this year, but he has been big for the Cats on defense and on the glass. Shut down by Aguirre and Cole in the paint on Wall. Instead, Patterson shoots. And another foul. Man, this is going to go against Cleveland State. The Wildcats thought it was called on them. And Daniel Orton wipes the sweat from his brow as he dodged the foul bullet.
You can see a little hesitation on the Kentucky players when they drive the basketball. That's part of learning this dribble drive motion game that Coach Cal has brought in from Memphis. guys are supposed to be in specific spots when the ball is dribbled at the elbow. And right now, Kentucky is just trying to learn where each teammate is when they put the ball on the floor.
Second personal foul for Jared Cunningham. He checks out as DeMarcus Cousins for Kentucky also out with 2 fouls on the bench. Bledsoe drifts it, and Orton recovers it. Tim Kamchek checked in. There's a pass lost out of bounds into the Cleveland State bench. It's Tim Kamchek, a freshman forward, who checked in for the 2-foul strapped Jared Cunningham. And for Tim Kamchek, fun story, walk-on, earned a scholarship this year, has earned playing time based on his high energy, his style of play, does the little things.
Well, he's one of 3 guys on Cleveland State's roster who started at quarterback for their high school football team.
That's Kamchek right now with the basketball at the free throw line. He'll dump it off to DeAndre Brown. And that's Norris Cole with it up by the ribbon. Cole draws a triple team. That'll leave Kamchek open. Steps inside. Too strong. And Ramon Harris again with a rebound for the Cats. And now he'll draw the foul. A little later than Coach Calipari might have liked it, but it came. And that'll be a foul. Looks like that was Nigel Aguirre. And that's going to get us to the single bonus already, Coach, with 12:27 to go in the first half.
This is a chance now for Kentucky to take advantage of their size. And you get into that bonus early, you've got to get the ball inside.
An issue, though, so far, just 66% free throw shooting for the year for the Wildcats, which will not get the job done deep in the SEC or deep in the tournament. That'll be, again, another work in progress. I'm sure Coach is all over that. It has not been a good situation at the free throw line yet so far this year. Harris on the single bonus, missed the front end. Ball is tipped up and in. Count the basket for Patrick Patterson as he battled with Joe Lattis, who just checked in. Lattis replaced Nigel Aguirre, who also has 2 fouls. So Aguirre and Cunningham for the Vikings, both on the bench with 2 fouls. And that forces Lattis into action. Lattis has played in only 2 games this year and averaged 2 minutes per game. Jump right into the fire with the Wildcats. Floater, too strong, missed by Montgomery. Wall on the run, taken away by DeAndre Brown. Cole, Montgomery, he's going to work in the trees. Orton blocks the shot. Norris Cole dishes it up, too strong off the glass. Bledsoe on defense forced the shot to go awry, and there's Wall fouled into their end. Well, here comes the pace that we were looking for. We'll see more of it when we return from this timeout. Kentucky 9 and Cleveland State 4 at the Cancun Challenge on the CBS College Sports Network. The Cancun Challenge on the CBS College Sports Network is presented by Palace Resorts in Mexico and the Dominican Republic. All-inclusive, all-incredible, all yours. Russell Athletic, proven on the field of play. And Steamboat. Steamboat Springs, Colorado is Ski Town, USA. Champagne powder awaits. Visit steamboat.com. Wildcats fans turned out in force, as they tend to do wherever the Cats go. They're here in Cancun.
And I heard that Ashley Judd is supposed to be here for the game.
Yeah,
I haven't seen her yet,
yeah.
but I'm getting excited about that.
That's how we got you here. For the Wildcats of Kentucky, 9-4 the score. They've got John Wall at the free throw line, shooting a 2-shot foul in this case. 8 team fouls now for Cleveland State. Jeremy Montgomery picked up that last foul, his first personal, so some trouble in the foul column for the Vikings. First free throw good for Wall as Daniel Orton gets bumped out of the paint by Joe Lattis. Lattis, I think he's somewhere in the vicinity of what they say 270 pounds now. He was actually about 310 when he came into the program. He just bumped Orton off the line. Here's the second free throw for John Wall. Wall just 1 point and now 2 points in the basketball game. He's a 71% free throw shooter in the early season. He'll check out after making the 2 free throw shots, being replaced by Darius Miller. Cleveland State down by 7, and here's the problem, Coach. They've had plenty of chances, but for Cleveland State, showing on the stat sheet right now that they're 2 of 15 from the floor.
They're as cold inside as it is hot outside. Kentucky changing their full court pressure, going away from that 2-2-1 to a little bit of man-to-man.
Penetration for DeAndre Brown. Now he'll get the finish. Finally made the right shot adjustment over the trees, got it to go. That breaks a long dry spell for Cleveland State. Sat on 4 points for a big chunk of this first half. short on the shot is Orton.
Not sure that's the shot that Coach Cal wanted on that possession.
Up top, handling the basketball, Jeremy Montgomery from Chicago, Illinois. A sophomore, his parents sitting right beside us. Part of the fun of Cancun here, you really get up close and personal with the teams and the fans, and everybody's all tight here together at the Moon Palace. Here's a foul by Kentucky's Eric Bledsoe, first personal.
Well, you mentioned Jeremy Montgomery. Interesting story as we look at the Kentucky faithful here in attendance. But Jeremy Montgomery, Coach Waters actually recruited his older brother, who chose another institution, University of Northern Iowa, a very good team, coached by Ben Jacobson. But he came back a couple years later, and he got Jeremy to come to Cleveland State. He's had an outstanding career thus far.
Shot clock at 20 seconds now for Cleveland State. Cole will fire again. Three-point try is no good. Lattice over the back of Darius Miller. More free throws for the Wildcats.
Kentucky's size and quickness is having an impact on Norris Cole's offensive game. He's taken too many shots where he's been off balance. He's got to try and settle down a little bit and understand that your shot's not going to get blocked. Just go ahead and step into it, knock it down.
Joe Lattice will check out, the sophomore center out of Cleveland, Ohio. He'll be replaced by Aaron Pogue. Pogue carrying 2 fouls. Jared Cunningham, Nigel Agier, and Aaron Pogue on the most recent stat sheet with 2 fouls each. Miller hit the front end. John Wall checks back in for the Wildcats, replacing Ramon Harris. For Darius Miller, his first point of the game. Miller averaging just over 7 points per game through the first 4 of this season. Getting 28 minutes of playing time per game. He's been important in the rotation for the Wildcats, and he hit both of his free throws right there. Came in 2 for 2 from the line. Now 4 of 4 after a couple of good ones.
Once again, Kentucky with a little full court man-to-man pressure, looking to set up their run and jump at half court. Good job by Cole dribbling out of it.
You mentioned Cole not off to the start he'd like to be off to. He's 1 of 5 from the floor, 2 points. He is their leading scorer, is Norris Cole, at 21 points per game. Shooting hasn't been there yet. Pogue can't get it to go. Kamchek and Pogue underneath. And out of bounds it goes. It'll be the basketball of Cleveland State. Kamchek right there on that hustle offensive glass attack.
Well, I like what they did out of that timeout. Pogue, go inside to him, get the big fella some touches, see if you can't get Kentucky in a little bit of foul trouble.
Checking in for the Wildcats, senior Perry Stevenson replaces Patrick Patterson. Cleveland State back to the offense, and another foul for the Wildcats. That'll be Darius Miller. He's got 2 personal fouls, 6 team fouls, so the next one will result in bonus free throws for Cleveland State. Here comes Ramon Harris back into the game for Kentucky, and for Cleveland State, Trey Harmon, an original starter today, will get back on the floor. He'll replace DeAndre Brown. He's looked good out there. Athletic is Brown. He'll take a seat for a few moments over by Coach Waters. Pogue has the ball, low right side. Working on Orton. Montgomery couldn't find any space. Cole again will shoot, and there it is. 3-point basket for Norris Cole, the junior. He's a 58% three-point shooter this season, and there's Orton flying from John Wall.
You've got to contain Wall in transition. If you let him get to that foul line untouched, you're in trouble.
Officials stop it. I think Cole may have some blood on the jersey or an arm, so officials will slow things down here, get that adjusted. Boy, it's funny how much shorter the court looks when Kentucky plays. They're down there quick.
They get the ball from one end to the other as quick as any team in the country, and John Wall just setting up Orton for the easy lob. And again, Cleveland State has got to control transition. Good look by Norris Cole, gets his feet set, on balance, knocks it down. That's the Norris Cole that we've seen in the last few games.
There's Coach Gary Waters of Cleveland State working the sideline. You know, Coach backed it off down here in Cancun. He went with the polo. I know he's annually ranked one of the best-dressed coaches in the country, but he went with the spirit. Still looks great, of course.
Well, and he has done a fantastic job going back to when he was at Kent State took Kent State to 3 postseason appearances, goes to Rutgers, 3 postseason in 5 years, 2 postseason appearances in 3 years here at Cleveland State. Unbelievable job, tremendous coach.
Norris Cole stayed in the game. They just wrapped the arm, and he's all right to stay. Montgomery shuffled his feet as he set the drive, and it's a traveling call. Turnover by Cleveland State. Kentucky basketball. 4 of 19 from the floor for Cleveland State. 4 of 19. They've shot the ball 8 more times than the Wildcats in this game, yet they trail by 6. 9 fouls committed by the Vikings, so the next one goes to the double bonus. Meanwhile, Kentucky has 6 fouls committed. Single bonus coming for the Vikings' next foul committed by the Wildcats. We're still just under 9 minutes to go.
Cleveland State mixes it up, goes to a 2-3 zone. Normally when you go zone, it's to try and keep the ball out of the inside. Kentucky, very good. Patience, goes right inside to Orton and creates another foul opportunity.
Tim Kamchek picked up his first foul, got up in the air and bumped Orton. 2 free throws here on the double bonus. That was also a shooting try. So does he get 4 free throws for that? Orton at the line, 8 of 12 prior to this game, coming in from the free throw stripe. Missed the first one. Here comes a check in for Cleveland State. Kevin Anderson, an athletic, lanky 6'10 junior. Orton with 1 more free throw. And he missed them both, and Vikings 4 of them around that basketball as it came off the iron.
Well, that hurts twice as much. From way downtown.
Harmon comes off long wall run. Lob again to Bledsoe, and he traveled as he tried to haul it back in. That long carom, and that's what the Cats will do. They're going to turn and run on you every time.
That was pretty good transition defense for Cleveland State, even though it was not a very good shot on the offensive end. And as Coach Waters has talked about, your defense starts on the offensive end. You must take care of the basketball. You must have good shot selection so that Kentucky can't get out and run.
Watching practice yesterday, Cleveland State worked a lot on shutting down the run out, also on defense with the feet. They ran several drills where the players had to keep their hands behind their backs and play defense just with their feet. And I think you saw something right there that paid off in yesterday's practice.
Well, this is a young team for Cleveland State. They lose 5 seniors from last year, almost 60% of their scoring, over 60% of their rebounding. So you've got some experience in Norris Cole and DeAndre Brown, but everybody else is brand new this year.
Turnover by Cleveland State. Patrick Patterson back in for Kentucky. Gets the ball to John Wall. Ramon Harris out there with Daniel Orton and Eric Bledsoe, the 5 on the floor for Kentucky on this offensive possession. Just under 8 minutes now in the first half of this semifinal game of the Cancun Challenge presented by Triple Crown Sports. Thanks for joining us on the CBS College Sports Network for basketball in Mexico. The lob hits the rim, and that's a turnover. Cole runs it against Bledsoe and finishes.
Tremendous finish. A defensive change on that possession confused Kentucky. Cleveland State now in a triangle and 2.
Foul committed by Jeremy Montgomery, his second foul, and that'll be more free throws for Kentucky, but first a timeout. Wildcats 15, Vikings hanging around with 11, just down by 4. In Cancun, Kentucky, number 5 ranked in the country, 15. And Cleveland State, the Vikings of the Horizon League, 11. They fell into a hole, but they've clawed their way back at the Vikings, and over halfway through this first half, they're right in the basketball game, down 15-11. Maybe some of the reason for that is 9 turnovers by Kentucky here in the first half already.
Well, and Kentucky is trying to share the ball a little bit too much. They're a little unselfish, which on one hand is a good sign, but sometimes you just got to shoot the ball, guys. You just can't keep trying to pass it a little closer to the basket.
Eric Bledsoe hits the first free throw. That makes Kentucky 6 of 11 now from the line, so they were at 50% before that shot, and that's another reason why they have not extended the lead on the Vikings. So 2 good there for Bledsoe, leading the team at 87% from the line coming in, and he converts both of his tries. For the Vikings, 24% from the floor, 5 of 21 as of that last timeout, and just 17% on their 3-point tries. Pogue had it kicked away by Orton of the Wildcats, and it stays with Cleveland State. 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, Cleveland State has stayed close for two reasons. Number one, transition defense has been solid, and they have taken care of the basketball on the offensive end.
Pogue spins and scores, and it's a 4-point basketball game. Once again, as Aaron Pogue gets the two inside.
That's the potential that young man had coming out of high school. He was a top 50 recruit for Cleveland State. Oh, too easy for Kentucky. A little high-low action.
Orton and Patterson. Good finish by Patterson, flying underneath the iron. And a timeout called by Gary Waters. Cleveland State will take a 30-second timeout. Using that height advantage, the Wildcats on the last bucket.
Well, you get the ball to a very good passing big man in Orton, and Cleveland State a little bit slow. Too easy for Patterson. Cannot let him catch it that close to the basket. There's a reason why he's shooting 74% from the floor. Not that they're all layups, but when you can catch him from 2 feet out, you're not going to miss very many of those.
Yeah, you're 6'9", and you're standing near. It's a good chance you're going to finish it. Daniel Orton, the freshman, made the pass. A good decision by Orton, the young man, as he saw Kevin Anderson and Aaron Pogue both reacting to the ball going to him high, and he quickly dished it down into Patterson for the easy deuce. I say easy. It's easy for him, not me.
It's a good timeout by Gary Waters. He saw that Kentucky has changed defenses. They're going to try and keep the ball out of Norris Cole's hands. The question is, can someone else step up for Cleveland State and score in the half court?
We saw Daniel Orton checking out. He is taken to the bench. And into the game, Josh Harrelson, junior out of St. Charles, Missouri. Brown hands off. Long three again. Irons out from Jared Cunningham. Offensive rebound by DeAndre Brown. Dishes to Cunningham. Over Harrelson and scores.
Cleveland State is just out hustling the Wildcats on the offensive glass. That's effort. That is what Cleveland State and Gary Waters coach teams are all about.
You're looking at a team that made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament last year in Cleveland State. Wildcats did not get a ticket to the dance last year, played in the NIT. Ramon Harris, way too strong on the three, but he'll get his own carom. Patterson, there's the jumper, stretches it out and scores.
If he can make that shot, you're looking at a Kentucky team that can make it to the Final Four.
Explosion by Cole, and it's off of Cole, out of bounds. Good looking drive, but he lost the basketball on the way.
Patterson came back for his junior year for three reasons. Expand his game, being able to make that baseline jump shot, get to the NCAA tournament, which he hasn't done at Kentucky, and to graduate. He's got a chance to do all three this year under Coach Calipari's leadership.
6-point lead for the Wildcats. Harris gets it up top to Bledsoe. Harrelson shoots. Patterson tips and Harris scores. And Harris might have hurt himself. He is on the ground and in pain. He came down on a foot as he made the follow.
Looks like he may have twisted his knee as he goes to the offensive glass. Nobody boxes him out. Ooh, does come back on the heel. Looks like it might be his knee.
Ramon Harris, a senior out of Anchorage, Alaska, athletic wing player for the Wildcats. Changed his number to number 5 prior to the Ole Miss game last year in honor of his 5 siblings. And in a game against Sam Houston State when Coach Calipari was quite displeased as Ramon Harris is now helped to his feet. Coach was very displeased with the defensive effort of the Wildcats against Sam Houston State. The one player he did single out as giving significant effort on the defensive end was Ramon Harris, who you see being helped off the floor.
And this is a very young Kentucky team, and they're very talented, but people have to understand it's still going to be a learning process. They obviously can score the basketball, but one of the things they have to get better at is on the defensive end, especially team defense, and that's been a trademark of Coach Calipari's teams. I mean, you look at his last 4 years at Memphis, they're number 1, they're number 2, they're number 12 and number 12 respectively in field goal defensive percentage. That means they play great team defense. That's what this Kentucky group has to learn.
John Hood, a freshman guard out of Madisonville, Kentucky, checks in for the Wildcats. Coach Calipari just sent John Hood to the floor to replace Ramon Harris. Hood's first action of the day. Here come the Vikings with the basketball as Lance James, a junior, is checked into this game. His first taste of action here in Cancun. Pass is wide, and Pogue couldn't get it, but he was held or pushed, one of the two. First personal foul for Daniel Orton.
Just not the greatest of angles. You got to, if basketball is a game of angles, just as football is a game of inches, if you're the guard making that post pass, you got to take it down to that 45-degree angle, one or two dribbles more, and you would have had a better passing angle to get Pogue the ball.
Run into the single bonus is missed by Aaron Pogue. Wall to Bledsoe. No good, and the long rebound comes out to Trey Harmon. Players tied up on the floor. Meanwhile, play goes on, 4-on-4. Here's a drain, three-point basket by Jared Cunningham.
That might be the best offensive game for Cleveland State, 4-on-4 instead of 5-on-5.
DeAndre Brown had a wet shoe and couldn't get his grip. He was looking for help. There's a kick ball by Cleveland State. It'll stay with Kentucky. And Brown now asking for some help. I'm sure the floor is pretty wet. There were two big bodies down there for about 15 seconds wrestling. No pin was recorded. And very good form, though, fundamentally in Greco-Roman.
Well, you have a good box out, and both players go down. The trail official does a very good job making sure that things don't get out of hand. Orton and Pogue trying to get up, trying to keep each other out of the play in that respect.
6'9" Pogue and the 6'10" Orton. That is almost 14 feet of entanglement.
Those are big bodies, too. I think they'd be pretty good if they were on a rugby team.
After the kick ball, shot clock, we're at 35 seconds here as Bledsoe puts the ball in play to Patterson, tipped out of bounds. Good job denying the pass by Harmon. You can see how much they're trying to keep it out of the hands of John Wall.
Now, Harmon is a defensive stopper for Cleveland State. Believe it or not, a recruited walk-on, was not even a scholarship player when he first came to Cleveland State.
Now Wall drives, and he's bumped on his way to the basket. That foul will be Trey Harmon's second personal foul. Five different players now for the Vikings with 2 fouls each. More free throws for the Wildcats. For Kentucky in the game so far, they are 7 of 12 from the line. A 2-shot trip for John Wall. Hits the first for Wall, a much heralded freshman, off to a strong start. He's played in 3 of the team's 4 games, started all 3 that he's played in. 36, almost 37 minutes per game, 20 points per game. Leads the team with 22 assists and 8 steals, also pulling down 4 boards per game, and has the most free throw attempts and free throws made on the squad, which tells you something about his game, and he just made 2 more there.
An unbelievable debut for John Wall. Hits the game winner against Miami of Ohio in a dramatic comeback for the Wildcats a couple of weeks ago.
Wall now 4 of 4 from the line, all 4 of his points from the free throw line. Also 3 rebounds and 3 assists in this first half for John Wall. Traveling violation, Lance James moved the feet. 25-18 is the score, a 7-point lead for Kentucky. Cleveland State has gotten down, gotten back in it, gotten down. You kind of wait. It's that critical moment in time, even before halftime or right out of the halftime break. If you can stay, if you can avoid those big spurts by Kentucky, then you got a chance to make this exciting.
If you're Cleveland State, you got to keep it out of right there. You got to keep it out of the inside.
Lob to Patterson, hard to defend. Pogue got hung up and picked up his 3rd personal foul.
I'll tell you, Thad, I would love to play with John Wall, because when you're playing with him, you know you're going to get the basketball. The biggest thing is, though, you got to be ready, because he's going to hit you whether you're looking or not.
Patterson, free throw, bounces in and good for Patrick Patterson, as Tim Kamchek will check back in for Cleveland State. And Aaron Pogue with 3 fouls will go to the bench. Patterson in this game, 8 points, 3 field goals converted, and 2 of 3 from the free throw line. Also 4 boards for Patterson in the first half.
Can't say enough about that young man. He's not only is he a preseason player of the year candidate, but he takes care of business off the court. As we mentioned before, he will graduate in May in only 3 years.
Cleveland State, 20 seconds to shoot, under 4 minutes to go first half, trying to stay out of the big hole. Shot and miss. Kamchek tipped it, but Patterson grabs it. Wall runs. That was fun. John wanted the bucket. Still fun to watch that attack to the rim. Couldn't convert the layup, and the Wildcats fans, a big sigh of disappointment. That was highlight reel stuff.
This is where game experience comes into play. Norris Cole understands time and score, momentum.
Kamchek on the offensive glass, and here comes a sub for the Wildcats as Coach Calipari does not like the rebounding that the Vikings have been able to do underneath. Harrelson will check in at the next stop, as will Jeremy Montgomery for the Vikings. Fresh shot clock and a new chance for Cleveland State. Biggest deficit of the game is 9. Is it 6? That shot is short, and it was... Looks like not ruled deflected, out of bounds. It'll be Kentucky basketball. Wildcats lead by 9 at the Cancun Challenge on the CBS College Sports Network. Thad Anderson and Rich Zavosik in Cancun, along with a bunch of fans, but very notably a lot of Wildcats fans supporting Kentucky here as part of an 8-team men's tournament in Cancun. The featured 4 teams are in the semifinal round today. The winner of this game will play in the championship game tomorrow night at the Cancun Challenge. Thanks for joining us on the CBS College Sports Network. Kentucky now with that 9-point lead, largest of the game, and for Kentucky, 7 different players have scored already in this basketball game.
Thad, the key has been for Kentucky to expand this lead. They have not turned the basketball over in the last 4.5 minutes. They've taken better care, and when you take better care of the basketball, you score more points.
Notable that
How's that for a flair for the obvious?
Notable that they have 7 players in the scoring column, because in that 102-point effort against Sam Houston State, only 5 players scored. The starters did all the scoring in a 102-point barrage.
That's
by the Wildcats, and they've got 7 guys with a team total of 27 points. And there is a basket, and the 8th player to score is John Hood with a 3-point basket.
Well, out of that timeout, Cleveland State went back to a triangle and 2. Make someone else beat you. John Hood did.
Looks like Harrelson's going to pick up this foul. Nope, they're going to actually charge that to John Wall.
Again, Cleveland State in the triangle and 2. They run Hood on the baseline, gets his feet set, automatic.
John Hood was 0 for 2 from three-point land entering this game, so he likes Cancun for many reasons.
Yeah, if he can make open shots, he's going to get more minutes, because in this dribble drive offense, you're going to create openings for three-point shooters.
First free throw is good for DeAndre Brown. Thanks for joining us on the CBS College Sports Network. Halftime is approaching. We'll be at the CBS College Sports Desk. Adam Zucker and Steve Lapis talking some college basketball. Coach's early season surprises and some information shared by Coach Lapis. Stay with us for halftime. That is thrown away inbounds, taken away by Jeremy Montgomery. Inside, cutting is Brown, and count the basket as the goal was tended.
That play set up by great defense by Jeremy Montgomery. They get it, DeAndre Brown cutting to the basket, a little bit late, and a goaltend.
Deflection by Brown, jumps over the crowd, and he's okay. Well, that proves that he can leap.
Well, DeAndre Brown, as Coach Waters has said before, he's their energy guy. Last year, he gets hurt at the beginning of the conference season. They go 4-5. He comes back. They win 8 straight. make it to the NCAA tournament. He's a guy that they need all year long.
On the staff with Coach Waters, Jason G., Larry DeSimpilar, and Jermaine Kimbrough were all just leapt by DeAndre Brown, the coaching crew for Cleveland State. Kentucky has the basketball in the hand of Hood. Now up to Harrelson, who hits the jumper, a two-point basket for Josh Harrelson, and that's Harrelson's first basket. That's 9 different players in the scoring column with just 32 points on the board.
This is a very unselfish Kentucky team. When you get so many talented guys, that's the biggest challenge for a coach. Kentucky spreading the wealth today.
Impressive sharing of the basketball, which has been, among other things, one of the teaching themes here early. 3-point ball on the way, too strong. And it's rebounded by Darius Miller. Down to 1:10 to go. Ball thrown away. Cleveland State controls it. Montgomery pushes around Patterson. Cam check, and he came down hard to the floor. Looks like he's all right. Thought he might have knocked himself out.
Good job by Montgomery getting it right to the rim. Cleveland State with numbers in transition. Very good decision by Montgomery, taking it right to the rack, creating an offensive rebound opportunity for Tim Kamczyk. Am I pronouncing that right?
Tim Kamczyk. He hustled the basketball. He's blowing on that hand. He looks to me like he may be feeling some pain. He's got to shoot free throws right now, and he's a kid that won't want to leave the game. Leaving the game was Darius Miller, his 3rd personal foul for the Wildcats. Kamczyk takes the basketball. Daniel Orton checked in. He's on the low right block, and Kamczyk is good on the first free throw. Good free throw shooter so far this season at 8 of 10 entering today's contest.
Didn't seem like that hand bothered him on that stroke. A change in the rule this year with an injured player. In the past, the coach of the team that had the injured player could elect somebody else to shoot the free throw. This year, the change is the opposing coach gets to make that decision. So when you got a guy like Kamczyk who can really shoot it, you keep him in there.
Kamczyk hits both free throws. Here's another strip and a takeaway. Montgomery runs with Cole. Cole left side, back to Montgomery. Cleveland State will pull it back out. It's an 8-point game, under 1 minute to go first half. Cleveland State, big possession here. And that'll be a foul against the Wildcats on defense. Looks like Bledsoe will pick up the foul. Second foul for Bledsoe. Re-entering a moment ago when Kamczyk was shooting free throws, Nigel Agier with his 2 personal fouls is on the floor. So, Rich, you're in a situation here where you go to halftime. You're in that moment where you can be double digits down or you can be within 6-5 possibly. That's a huge swing.
It is, and these are key free throws for Montgomery, and quite frankly, he has been the energy for this Cleveland State team. When he's on the floor, he's wreaking havoc on the defensive end, keeping the pressure on Wall, and if they can get some scoring out of him, that's just gravy.
First point for Montgomery. He's now 8 of 9 from the line on the year. Can he get to 90% here? He does. Good looking free throw stroke, left-handed delivery. And he's got this back to a 6-point game. Cleveland State, they're right here, and they're playing with the number 5 ranked team in the country. Cleveland State knocked off Butler in the Horizon League Championship game last year to go to the NCAAs, then beat Wake Forest, then lost to Arizona in round 2. A good program under Coach Gary Waters in Cleveland. Under 30 seconds to go.
Cleveland State should get the last possession, but Kentucky looking for a little inside-out action, perhaps.
Mark Krebs just had the basketball, the senior from Newport, Kentucky, in the game, getting a little PT. Here's a strip by Cole. 10 seconds to go. Cole runs it, and he's fouled. Cleveland State with an impressive surge at the end of the first half.
The one thing that Coach Calipari talked about before the game, experienced guard play. Norris Cole is an experienced guard, the type of player that you're going to play against in the SEC or an NCAA tournament game. Norris Cole gets the steal, has a chance to cut it to 4.
Norris Cole, first time at the line today, hit 13 of 13 free throws against Florida A&M in their first domestic game of the Cancun Challenge. Missed this one. Here comes Lance James checking back in. He's going to replace Jeremy Montgomery, who has done good work for the Vikings and will get notified of that as he heads to the bench. One more free throw for Cole. Update the turnover numbers. Cleveland State, 7 turnovers in the game, 13 turnovers for Kentucky in this first half.
I kind of jinxed them. They went about 4.5 minutes without a turnover, and then the last few possessions here, they've gotten a little careless.
Norris Cole, tough day to this point shooting, but he's up to 8 points in the game now with that free throw. Harrelson, 3, nailed it from way downtown. Big shot for Josh Harrelson, now 3 of 3 on the season from three-point land. He gives his team an 8-point advantage at halftime with a big shot at the buzzer. Kentucky 35 and Cleveland State 27 after the first half of play. You're watching the Cancun Challenge presented by Triple Crown Sports on the CBS College Sports Network. "20 minutes of time left on the game clock for Kentucky and Cleveland State to move on to the championship game of the Cancun Challenge. Wildcats with an 8-point lead at halftime. Kentucky, 9 different players scored in that first half of play.
Well, but it's led by their big men, and you can see Daniel Orton keeps it alive, and they finish on the missed free throw with Patterson getting the tip, and then they can erase mistakes on the defensive end. Orton with a block, and John Wall, a great assist to Orton. John Wall, one of the top guards in the country. Very unselfish play in the first half. Ramon Harris with a kick to Patterson on the baseline. He nails it.
Patterson, a good stroke, and for Patterson in the first half. He led the team with 9 points in that first half of play. Talked about the shooting, Coach, 9 of 31 for Cleveland State.
Well, the thing that has kept Cleveland State in it, or at least within striking distance, is the fact that they've taken better care of the basketball. In this second half, though, they're going to have to do a much better job shooting the basketball.
8 steals in the first half of play for the Vikings of Cleveland State, and the turnover count 13-7. UK on the wrong end of that one, and that has been a Wildcat problem through their first 4 games. It continues here today in Cancun in their 5th game of the season. There's a look at the first half stats at the Palace, Moon Palace, presented by Palace Resorts in our all-inclusive look here, Coach.
I love that. I love that. And part of the learning curve for Kentucky with so many young guys is learning to take care of that basketball. You know, in that first half, 13 turnovers. That's 13 fewer scoring opportunities you're going to get. And a lot of that has to do with losing focus. And, you know, our difference makers.
Talked earlier about some difference makers in today's game. Aaron Pogue got in some early foul trouble. John Wall, well documented what a difference maker he is likely to be with Kentucky.
Well, and neither one has really had the type of impact on this game that we anticipate, but there's 20 more minutes, and certainly both guys have the opportunity to be the difference in the second half.
And we're set for second half play. Cleveland State will have the basketball. They'll have possession with an 8-point deficit on the board. Chance to cut into that. It was Josh Harrelson for the Wildcats, the junior, who hit a leaning 3 at the buzzer to make that margin 8 points. Cleveland State had just reeled Kentucky back in, and that was a bit of a deflator right before halftime. Pogue with 3 fouls working low. Step around. Nowhere to go for Jared Cunningham, and it's taken away finally by Kentucky. Just nothing really working on offense.
Well, even though they didn't score, I like the fact that they went inside and Kentucky in transition. Patterson.
The big men go right back to work for Kentucky.
Well, Pogue is facing 2 guys that are probably going to be bigger than anybody will play in the horizon. And, you know, you've got a guy like Cousins who can block shots. Then it ignites their fast break. Patterson now with a chance to finish with 2 free throws.
DeMarcus Cousins with that block sat for a good chunk of the first half with an early 2 fouls. Here's Patterson at the line. He's 3 of 4 today, making 3 of 5. The foul charge to Aaron Pogue. That is not what Coach Gary Waters wanted to see, as Pogue picked up his 4th foul just 28 seconds into the second half, and he'll have to sit down. Tim Kamchek, who put in some good minutes in the first half, checks in. Missed them both, but that will be rebounded by Darius Miller. And Wall floats it home.
Well, Coach Waters has elected to go with a smaller lineup and try and spread Kentucky out. but they're going to have a better defensive effort.
Timeout called quickly by Cleveland State as Kamchek gets an earful for not pulling down that rebound. It's a 10-point advantage, biggest lead of the game for Kentucky. Back after this timeout on the CBS College Sports Network. The Cancun Challenge on the CBS College Sports Network is presented by Palace Resorts in Mexico and the Dominican Republic. All inclusive, all incredible, all yours. By Nike, just do it. And by Triple Crown Sports, destination, location, signature memories, professional staff. Get in the game at triplecrownsports.com. Quick need for a timeout for the Vikings of Cleveland State, down by 10 now, the largest deficit of the game for the Vikings. Just about a half a minute into the second half. That's not what Coach Waters wanted to do coming back out of the locker room.
Now, this is what you got to do with a young team. You got to spoon feed them. Norris Cole, a great dish inside. Jared Cunningham with the finish. Very good play coming out of the timeout. You can see why Gary Waters is one of the top tacticians in college basketball.
Out of bounds to Kentucky, limping out there is Patrick Patterson. He's going to check out. Patterson came limping down the court. He's replaced by Perry Stevenson.
You got to go to your experience. Norris Cole, the most experienced player. He draws, he dishes, and Cunningham with the easy finish.
And that quick movement of the ball and quick decision-making on pass and shot, so critical against Kentucky with athleticism. You don't have time to think or grab. You got to just go.
No, you got to go right up with it. Cunningham, no hesitation.
Ramon Harris, good to see him back in. He hurt a knee in the first half and right back to work on beating himself up as Harris goes down. It did not look good when he went down here on the floor. And a little concerned about him, but he'll get back in the game.
Yeah, he looks healthy, although Coach Cal was yelling at him for falling down. I'm not sure what that was about.
DeAndre Brown picked up the foul, his first personal. Vikings have 2 team fouls right away again in the second half. They were into the bonus, or took Kentucky into their chance for the bonus right away in the first half as Kentucky drew foul after foul. Cleveland State, 8-point deficit. Kamchek lost the basketball, and he's been in some trouble here in the second half. Played a good first half, not off to a great start here. Kentucky nearly lost it. Now Harris dribbles. And a foul called against Cleveland State. No shot attempt. It'll be an inbounding situation. Tim Kamchek picked up the foul, so it's been a tough run. Missed a rebound down here, missed a pass down here, just picked up a foul down here.
Yeah, I love Coach Waters' confidence in the young man. He knows he's a young guy. He's got to learn on the floor.
Out of bounds as Wall does his best DeAndre Brown impersonation, leaping over the crowd.
Great hustle play by Wall. I'd say he might want to think about maybe going out for the Olympic long jump team.
Or the Cancun banquet table jumping team, if there's such a thing. 3 on the way. No good again, missed by Jared Cunningham, and the cold shooting continues for Cleveland State. Flying to the basket, and foul is called. Perry Stevenson laying it out.
This is what happens when you take a quick shot. Cunningham takes a quick one. Kentucky gets numbers. Wall in transition is one of the best. He sets up Stevenson for 2 free throws.
Jared Cunningham left his feet, draws his 3rd foul. And we've got 3 on the stats page and 4 on the screen. We'll make sure we get that checked out. I might have that wrong here on this end. The scoreboard had him at 3 fouls. He is checking out is Jared Cunningham with foul trouble, the junior from Oregon City. He will sit, and back in comes Joe Lattis, getting more time in this game than he's gotten in any other game so far this year. Free throw good. Perry Stevenson hits it, and it's back to 10 points as Stevenson makes good on his trip to the free throw line. Extending the pressure now, the Wildcats.
Here comes the run and jump. They're trying to create some offense.
Kamchek gathers it in, blocked away.
He's just too big amongst threes. Good hustle play by DeAndre Brown, though, breaking it up.
DeMarcus Cousins with the swat inside for Kentucky. And there's Brown, as you talked about earlier. Hustle guy gets back.
It's a dangerous play They get the knockaway. Kamchek picks it up, but ooh, he's too big inside there. But a great hustle play by DeAndre Brown.
Back to action. John Wall handles the basketball. Half court for Kentucky. Under 18 minutes to go, second half. 8-point game at the half. Kentucky has extended to the 10-point lead now. Triple team. Good cut by Stevenson. Lost it out of bounds, and Cleveland State could not quite corral the basketball. It was Trey Harmon, among others, down there tripling up in the paint. Coach Waters talked yesterday about the fact that this team, one thing they track is deflections, and they have had a number of deflected balls in this game. They've done it again here.
Well, and I love the way that they're sagging inside, and the Kentucky players have to adjust. They can't bring the ball down to the little Rugrats.
Coach Waters said at their goal, they're doing real well if they get 30 deflections in a game. That sounded like a lot, but I can see why they go for that number. They get it done. 2 seconds on the shot clock, and that ball deadens on the back iron and falls in. Three-pointer for DeMarcus Cousins.
That's when you know you're living right. Cousins' first three of the year.
First attempt of the year from out there, and just flattened it out on the back of the iron. Had to do it against the shot clock expiring. He's not usually going to choose that shot. Well, maybe he will now. Largest lead of the game for Kentucky. Are they going to take off and extend right here? Three-point miss. Danger zone here for Cleveland State as Harmon missed on the three try. Wall slips. He's got trouble, and Lattice grabs a loose ball. Cleveland State, again, good hustle around the basketball. Fans wanted the walk. Harmon said, I'm all right. I'm agile. Lattice, the screen for Cole. Floats it. Here's Wall running against Brown. And a tackle, and Brown will be assessed with at least a foul on this.
Good call by the official. Obviously an intentional call because he wraps him. He doesn't go after the basketball. There's no malicious intent. He's just trying to slow him down. Didn't wait till he got out in the air. He did it when it was on the floor. But if you're a young guy, you got to go after the ball. You can't wrap.
They did call the intentional 2 shots in the basketball. Wall will head to the line. He's 4 of 4 from the free throw line today, John Wall. In this game, he has 6 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. First free throw is good. That is the second personal foul for DeAndre Brown.
This is where experience comes in. You're talking about a Cleveland State team that graduated 5 seniors. A guy like Cedric Jackson, who was in an NBA camp, now in the NBDL. It was a guy who was able to slow the game down and make plays. They miss that experience, but that's why you play these type of tournaments early in the season, so that young guys can gain valuable experience as you go into conference play.
Wall's 2 free throws good. Cousins goes reverse on the baseline, and he's fouled. You can see some frustration for Cleveland State starting to mount, and you can see Kentucky starting to respond to it with their own sort of reasserting themselves. It's getting a little more chippy here in Cancun than it has been all game long.
Well, this is where you have to try and slow the game down. And it's almost an oxymoron. You're down 16 points, yet you can't be in a hurry because there's 16 minutes to go. That's a world of time. You just got to chip away at it and keep the tempo at a slower pace.
Rebound is lost out of bounds by Cleveland State, so the miss on the free throw attempt by Cousins, and the ball will go right back to Kentucky. Joe Lattice, second personal foul moments ago. He just checked out of the game, and Nigel Agier is back in for Cleveland State. Baseline inbound for Kentucky. Coach Calipari right there to help with the call. Jersey grab, and that was, I think they got Lance James on that call? That can't be right. Looks like they have Trey Harmon with his 3rd personal foul. It's number 3, not number 2. 3rd personal foul for Trey Harmon, who actually got into the Kentucky huddle during that call and was jawing a little bit. Vikings had great composure for that entire first half, but his first 4 minutes of the second half has been a completely different story.
They've got to find somebody who can score the basketball. Somehow they've got to get Norris Cole some open looks. He's been working very hard on the offensive end, but trying to create too much for himself. They've got to try and run something to either get him or Cunningham a good look. 7 team fouls for Cleveland State, and we've not played 4 minutes of the second half, so that was bonus time, and Wall hit him again. Well, checking back in is John Hood. Part of that foul trouble is because you're playing against a bigger team with smaller guys, so you hope the officials will let you be a little scrappier, but they're calling it pretty tight. Trey Harmon was talking it up pretty good with Eric Bledsoe, and I don't know if the officials saw it, but things are getting to the edge of where you want them to be. Officials will have to grab control of this one. Cole steps around the flying defense. Harmon, no good. Nigel Aguirre inside working the glass, but Cousins rips it away. Aguirre, a talented, athletic inside player, but just giving up too much height. 18-point advantage for the Wildcats with 15:39 and ticking to go in the second half. If you're the Wildcats, you got to go right back inside. Cousins spins and can't get it. Wall up near the putback, missed the attempt. Harmon, next whistle will be a timeout, and I think the Vikings could use it. Another chance for Jared Cunningham. He'll step this one in and hits the shot. Good decision to come inside the three-point line by Cunningham. Nice little mid-range game, a couple of dribbles. Nice little baseline J. Into the corner to Bledsoe. Offensive foul. That'll be a foul against Eric Bledsoe, his third personal. Timeout. Wildcats lead by 16 in Cancun. Hey, look, it's Barbara and Randall Montgomery in Cancun, traveling with the Vikings of Cleveland State, parents of Jeremy Montgomery. So it's not just Kentucky fans, although they're pretty predominant here at the Moon Palace. Great to have the Vikings as part of the Cancun Challenge this year, as well as the Wildcats of Kentucky. And Kentucky, after holding an 8-point halftime lead, has doubled that to 47-31 now. They're on a 15-4 run, including that 3-point buzzer beater at the end of the first half. To take this lead big. Aguirre reverses. Good move. Boy, Cleveland State doing a lot of nice things inside, just hard to convert. Excellent job of spreading the floor, just can't come away with a hoop. You gotta throw the ball to Cousins here. Wall to Cousins. Aguirre pulls it down. Fun watching Nigel Aguirre inside. Nice dish. Again, no finish. Cleveland State all over the rim, but can't get buckets. Brown will draw the foul, and again, that's just a hustle play there. Brown was tangled up in a pretty rough foul moments ago. That was just hustle. Good effort by Brown to slow down Wall. With Cleveland State's foul trouble, if you're Kentucky, you got to keep pounding the ball inside to the big fella Cousins. Think about this stat. In his career now, he has played 70 minutes and scored 63 points in those 70 minutes. That's tremendous production. That's got to lead the country in point production. Third personal foul for DeAndre Brown, the junior out of Youngstown, Ohio. John Wall back to the line. He's a perfect 8 for 8 from the line today. 10 points in the game for Wall. Making 11 now for John Wall. And for Kentucky, he is the leading scorer. Patrick Patterson with 9 points in the game. And again, we mentioned that earlier, spreading it out today. Now 10 different players for the Wildcats have scored in the game. There's DeAndre Brown on the long rebound, and Norris Cole brings it back down the floor. Cole with 8 points in this game, well under his average of 21 per game coming in. He's still got some time. Try for 2 here. Shot miss after shot miss for Cleveland State. They are now 26%, 11 of 42 from the floor. 3 ball is good for Kentucky's Darius Miller. Great dribble penetration by Wall. Hits his spotted up teammate. Now a 20-point game. No good on the answer attempt by Jared Cunningham.
Foul comes against Jared Cunningham. That's going to be 4 personal fouls for Cunningham. And more free throws for Kentucky. 9 team fouls committed by Cleveland State, just 1 by Kentucky about 6.5 minutes into the second half. And you see 9-1 on the board a lot of times. You think, hey, you got to even this up. It's been pretty legit. Cleveland State just committing way more fouls.
Well, it is going back to the size advantage that Kentucky holds. And they're playing very intelligently this second half on the offensive end. They're going inside. They're trying to dribble, penetrate to the basket, creating some open threes. And if you can do that, you're going to score a lot of points.
DeMarcus Cousins at the line. He's 1 of 3 so far today. This is single bonus. Last time of the day, it'll be single for Kentucky, and he missed it. Inside to Agier. Tries to find some space, and again, too many shot alterations.
He heard footsteps.
Wall to the glass for 2. Big smile on the face of the freshman John Wall. And here comes the timeout from Coach Gary Waters. The Wildcats fans like what they're seeing. It's a 30-second timeout taken by Cleveland State. Kentucky 53, Cleveland State 31 in Cancun at the Cancun Challenge presented by Triple Crown Sports. We're at the Moon Palace All-Inclusive Resort. Thad Anderson, Rich Zavosik with you on the CBS College Sports Network. Another game coming up after this one as Stanford and Virginia play the other semifinal this evening in the Cancun Challenge. Winners of today's games play tomorrow night. Also right here on the CBS College Sports Network for the championship of the Cancun Challenge. So be sure you stay with us this evening as Stanford and Virginia will take the floor next.
Thad, I am amazed at that extra gear that John Wall has. Just when you think you have him stopped, he shifts it one more time and he gets by you. And that is why he is a potential NBA player.
He is the current ESPN National Player of the Week and also this week's SEC Freshman of the Week. So already starting to pile up the accolades. As I recall, Coach, you were the CBS Sportsline Coach of the Year back in the day, right?
Well, it is. Before I was asked to take early retirement.
No guarantees, even when you win those kinds of honors. Ramon Harris pulls down the errant shot, and for Ramon Harris, he has 8 rebounds to lead his team in this game, doing what he does. Ramon Harris with 8 boards. Orton fights for that inlet pass, and shot is missed. There's Kamchek with the rebound. Montgomery, that's a 2 just inside the stripe, and Jeremy Montgomery converts on this shot. First time in a long time we've seen a shot go down for Cleveland State. Offensive foul, John Wall.
Kamchek with 2 very good plays on the defensive end, back-to-back, taking the charge on Wall.
3rd foul committed by John Wall. Montgomery feeling good, missed this one. Way up high goes Perry Stevenson for the rebound.
Feeling a little bit too good. That's one of those times where even though you hit your previous shot, you don't have numbers, you gotta relax and take some time.
Now under 12 minutes to go. Here is a whistle and a foul. Looks like Montgomery is going to pick up his 3rd foul, and we'll have a timeout with free throws coming next for Kentucky Wildcats, up by 20. Fifth-ranked Kentucky Wildcats lead by 20. Semifinals of the Cancun Challenge at the Moon Palace All-Inclusive Resort. And here is the Palace Resort's all-inclusive play of the game.
Well, they altered the shot, and then John Wall shot out of a rocket right to the rim. Unbelievable finish, left hand.
And it's that defense to offense that set up the all-inclusive play of the game presented by Palace Resorts. There's a look at John Wall. Look quickly, he moves fast. If he moves, we'll lose him out of the camera shot. Wall, 6'4" freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina. 2009 McDonald's All-American, ranked by Rivals.com the #1 overall prospect of 2009. Stevenson at the line. Perry missed the first free throw. Double bonus for Kentucky the rest of the way with 11:53 to go. The score right before halftime, before Josh Harrelson hit that three-point basket, was sitting at 32-27, and then Harrelson hit. Since that time, it's been 22-6. Kentucky.
We've talked about Cleveland State graduating 5 seniors from last year's NCAA tournament team, but not only did they lose them, they have no seniors on the roster this year. So they're a team that the future is very bright because they got very good guards that'll be back again and some talented big players.
Foul, Daniel Orton, his second personal foul. That ball, was that kicked on the way through?
Little foot action there.
Shot clock stays at 25 seconds for Cleveland State. Baseline inbound from DeAndre Brown. Trey Harmon in the corner.
Go right back into the big guy.
Harmon stuck inside, taken away by Miller. Here's Harris running one-on-one. He'll pull it back against Cole. Not for long, though. Lob from Wall to Stevenson to Miller. And Stevenson grabs the bouncing three-point miss. Getting up off the bench is DeMarcus Cousins, preparing to come back in. There's a large freshman. He'll be in just a moment. Here's a floater by Miller for 2. Darius Miller hits the shot. 7 points in the game now. 2 of 4 shooting. A couple of free throws and a 3 mixed in for Miller. Pogue has it swatted out of bounds by Orton.
Good play by Orton. I love Pogue's patience here. Takes his time. Even though Orton blocks the shot, that's the type of play that Pogue's got to have. And once they get to the horizon, he won't be facing a guy the size of Daniel Orton.
There's the field goal damage for Cleveland State. They are not enjoying the south of the border shooting here in Mexico. Tough day. Shooting the ball. Wall way up high. And that's all inclusive.
Kentucky makes you pay for bad shots.
John Wall smiling, enjoying himself. He mentioned after the Ryder game, their most recent victory back at Rupp Arena, smiling a lot more because his team was playing the way they're supposed to. And he's doing it again today. DeAndre Brown, good finish after the dish, down low by Aaron Pogue. Under 10 minutes to go. Second half, Kentucky in control of this one. Kamchek, nice rebound down low for the Vikings. It was contested all the way into halftime, but the second half has been an explosion here by the Wildcats. 3 ball on the way. Can the Vikings make a run? Harmon knocks it down. Coach, you said you thought Cleveland State about 5 or 8 minutes ago, you said you thought they had one more run left in them. Under 10 minutes now. What are you thinking if you're Gary Waters?
Well, the key is, what does Kentucky do? If they take care of the basketball, keep throwing the ball inside, I don't think Cleveland State will be able to get back in this game. But if Kentucky is, if they take too many outside shots, then it's a different story.
Some offense from Darius Miller in the last couple of minutes as he's gone in and scored.
Right on cue, though, Darius Miller taking the ball off the bounce, gets a little 8-footer to go.
3 ball on the way. That rims out. Close again, but no good. Trey Harmon. Bledsoe, good acceleration, but he lost the basketball. DeAndre Brown to the floor, as he will do. Looks like a timeout called there by Kentucky. They do take a 30-second timeout to keep possession. 30 seconds for the Wildcats. John Wall getting work done on the floor in Cancun.
You're talking about a guy who just leaps. Oh, my goodness. Not only does he have an extra gear speed-wise, he's got an extra gear going vertical.
He gets the extra little pull on the rim. He gets the, he might have caught the bottom of the padding on the backboard on the way down to the slap. He did about 4 or 5 different things all wrapped into that one. That was all-inclusive right there. The Palace Resorts all-inclusive play of the game we showed a moment ago, and then he just produces another one right after it. John Wall, welcome to college basketball, or more likely, more appropriate, college basketball. Welcome to John Wall.
He may have more dunks this season than my first team had combined. He's that type of athlete. You know, the one thing that really impresses me right now about this Kentucky team is their unselfishness. And one of the things that Coach Cal had mentioned before the game is when he looked outside last night, he saw all of his guys going to dinner together. And that's the one trademark that all of his good teams have had. His Memphis teams, his UMass teams, they would all hang out together. And if you can get that kind of chemistry with this type of talent, you're talking about Final Four, you're talking about national championship.
Basket by DeMarcus Cousins as he scores again for Cousins. He has 10 points into double digits now. The top scorer for Kentucky, John Wall, with 15 points. This is the 5th game, if things hold the way they are, that a freshman will lead the team in scoring. That's all 5 of their contests this season, Kentucky. That ball almost went in for Pogue. He lost it, and Orton pulls it away. Nearing the 8-minute mark of the second half. You talked about that, Coach, where Kentucky, and they are taking a little air out of the ball here, but it's hard to do that with the players they've got. You can just see that all of them just have that natural tendency and the quickness to get a lot of things done quickly. This ball will come out to Harmon. He's got an open runaway and 2.
Well, Kentucky's showing some of their youth right there. Losing focus.
Time to talk about that Kentucky defense. It was, well, I'm just building this off of comments made by their own coach. It was a mess a couple of games ago against Sam Houston State and against Miami of Ohio, giving up 3 after 3 after 3. They're holding Cleveland State, a team that came in scoring 80 points per game, to 40 right now, as that shot is missed by Harmon. Hustle again here, ball taken away by Josh McCoy. Try it again, Montgomery for 3, that is good.
Montgomery, who was a big spark in the first half, his second basket here in the second half.
Kentucky calls a timeout. Coach Calipari wants to talk to his squad. Another 30-second timeout. Montgomery hit that 3 to bring it back under a 20-point margin.
The one thing that Cleveland State will need to find this year is another scoring threat in the backcourt. DeAndre Brown is more of a defensive energy guy. Norris Cole, as we've seen, is a very good offensive player. If Montgomery can hit open shots, he could be that missing piece to the puzzle.
Great use of the jab step to open himself up for the 3. Well, it's the new rookie coach at Kentucky, just trying to figure out how things are going to roll out this year. And after that Sam Houston State game, the 102-92 track meet, where only 5 of his players scored, by the way, those 102 points. So this may be, at this point, the worst defensive team I've had since 1988. No urgency defensively, none. So mad a couple times, my head almost popped off. Telling it like it is.
Well, then they came back and they held a couple of opponents under 34% from the field and are playing very well on the defensive end tonight.
Held Rider to 63 points, which was well under their season average in their most recent game prior to this one. And now, as I said, holding Cleveland State down 2. And there's a 3 ball from Eric Bledsoe. He came in as the leading 3-point shooter for the Wildcats.
That's created by in-and-out action and John Wall making the extra pass.
Kevin Anderson, chance to work down low, lost it, last touch by Kentucky. And that'll take us to a timeout with the score, Kentucky 65 and Cleveland State 43 at the Cancun Challenge on the CBS College Sports Network.
Who offers the best 3G experience?
When you drink Dr. Pepper slow.
Show, presented by Dr. Pepper, live from the SEC Championship game in Atlanta.
Oh, what a matchup we've got today. National championship implications on the line. It's not just about football when you come to an SEC tailgate.
It's the SEC Championship Tailgate Show, live December 5th at noon, only on the CBS College Sports Network, presented by Dr. Pepper.
'Tis the season for intensive teaching, and Coach John Calipari using his huddle to keep working, even though his team's up 22 points in this semifinal game of the Cancun Challenge. Especially those defensive adjustments, as we talked about after a couple of games where defense was lacking by all considerations. And here you see that career winning percentage for Coach Cal, 76.1%. Impressive numbers and a long tradition of success with the teams he's headed up. Cole drops it inside to Pogue. He'll be fouled, and this should be 2 free throws coming up for Aaron Pogue. Coach Calipari has won back-to-back Coach of the Year awards, SI and Naismith in the last couple of years. Acknowledged by peers and observers around the country as one of the top sideline guys around. And, you know, the excitement is back in Lexington, or I guess I'd say backer. It's never been gone, really, but 24,000 people plus at a recent early season game. They had 23,000 at their exhibition games at Rupp Arena. Unbelievable.
Well, he's taken the excitement to a new level. I mean, this is the first time since 2002 that they've been ranked in the preseason polls. And, you know, if they hold on today, which it certainly looks like, that'll give him 5 straight wins to open, which will tie him with Eddie Sutton for second for most wins to start a coaching career at Kentucky. Adolph Rupp started his legendary career there with a 10-0 run. So Coach Cal is still working on it.
So if they get to 11-0 this season, will it be renamed Calipari Arena? Unlikely.
Only if he hangs a couple of banners, and that's one of the things he talked about to us before the game. You know, they have all the resources there. They have the tradition, and as he said to me, he says, you know, Coach, you worked 25 years to get to a place like Kentucky, and you got to try and enjoy it, and he certainly has thus far.
Tim Kamchek, third personal foul, sends DeMarcus Cousins to the free throw line, hits the free throw, and Cousins has been playing some fantastic basketball the last 2 games, now make it 3 in a row versus Sam Houston State. 27 points and 18 rebounds for Cousins in that win. 27 points, the season high for the team, third most by a UK freshman. And then in their most recent game against Rider, 18 points and 5 blocks in just 15 minutes. And again today, Cousins getting a lot done, 12 points and 7 rebounds, along with a batch of blocks for DeMarcus Cousins. Out of bounds that goes. It's initially given to Cleveland State. All the players are running the other way, and they will adjust the call, will our officials. Kentucky basketball.
It's a good call by the official. I can't believe I'm saying that after 25 years of never thinking the officials were correct. You sit on this side, and I guess they are right sometimes.
I think it took Cancun for you to get to that point. You're just more relaxed. You're in a more deeper state of self-actualization down here in Cancun at the Moon Palace. Thanks for joining us on the CBS College Sports Network. Thad Anderson, Rich Zavosik, watching semifinal number 1 of the Cancun Challenge, presented by Triple Crown Sports. If it holds this way, Kentucky would play in the championship game tomorrow night right here on the CBS College Sports Network at 9:30 Eastern. Shot clock will expire. John Wall had to fling one up, and that'll be Cleveland State basketball. Vikings fans, you can also catch Cleveland State right here again tomorrow. And again, it would appear to be the third place game they would play in tomorrow. 7 o'clock Eastern time will be tip-off for the third place game of the Cancun Challenge. Under 5 minutes to go, Kentucky 23-point margin. Wall runs, and Cousins dunks.
If you're a big player, you run the floor when Wall has the ball because you know he's going to feed the big dog.
3 no good again for Jared Cunningham. A lot of good looks and a lot of balls halfway in and back out today for Cleveland State. Pogue will grab that miss by Darius Miller. Norris Cole, 8 points in this game. Can't go. Harrelson pulls down the rebound.
Kentucky's size has really bothered Cleveland State in the interior today.
Norris Cole, preseason first team All-Horizon League. Has been leading the team this year, having a tough day here. Just those 8 points, 3 of 11 shooting for Cole. But a great kid from everybody I've talked to with the program. Not only a solid, beyond solid basketball player, but a fantastic member of a team. Pogue tangled up with Cousins down low. Wall will shoot with 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Cousins still trying to get up. And finally back to his feet. Pogue and Cunningham were tangled up with him, and now Cunningham just took a little shot at Cousins. Cousins takes one back at Cunningham, and this one needs to be stopped. That'll lead us to a timeout on the floor. Officials working things out on the floor. Kentucky has a big lead in Cancun. Welcome back to Cancun, Mexico, the Cancun Challenge. We're in game one of the semifinals. Officials taking a look at that last replay to see what transpired between DeMarcus Cousins and Jared Cunningham, checking to evaluate the situation there. So we had a foul called against DeMarcus Cousins right before our timeout, and officials are assessing the severity. We can see that one more time in the truck. Thanks for your great work out in the truck. Our Mexican-based crew from Comtech and our Metro Sports United States-based crew helping the officials with a little look back on recent play. Our TV truck drove 26 hours to get here. About 15 Mexican-based crew members, along with 5 U.S.-based crew members, helping put this game on the air on the CBS College Sports Network. Glad you can be with us. Officials have reviewed, and again, thanks in the truck, Curtis Lorenz, our producer-director, and all the great crew we've got. Gracias to our Mexican crew, and thank you to our U.S.-based folks. Officials will now go deliver their interpretation of what they just saw.
Well, I'm not sure that they were able to see the first nudge, shall we say. And I think the first one was more incidental contact than Cousins' retaliation. And, you know, once again, you're talking about a young guy, first year, you know, maturity level. The game is well in your favor. You don't want to jeopardize yourself with, you know, a temporary show of emotion.
Coach Calipari got the explanation, and he has taken a seat with that. He apparently has accepted the explanation. Jared Cunningham will shoot 2, and I believe the basketball is going to go to Cleveland State as well. Coming up next, our second game of our doubleheader from Cancun, Mexico. The Virginia Cavaliers take on the Stanford Cardinal. Virginia led by first-year head coach Tony Bennett. Previously, Washington State was trying to get the Cavaliers back to the NCAA tournament. Coach Bennett led Washington State to 2 NCAA appearances in the 3 seasons he was there as a head coach and a National Coach of the Year. You'll see his Cavaliers take on Stanford next, and their head coach, Johnny Dawkins, only on the CBS College Sports Network. That's coming up next from Cancun, semifinals of the Cancun Challenge. Well, we got it sorted out. 69-44 is where we stand. Cleveland State has the ball. Did not see any ejection indications from the officials. Cousins is on the bench for Kentucky after that last scrum. Jared Cunningham still on the floor.
Well, Kentucky has taken out most of their starters, except for John Wall. And some guys will get some additional playing time.
Foul called against Cleveland State. That is 5 fouls for Aaron Pogue. The sophomore from Dayton, Ohio, will foul out of the game with 3 points, 3 rebounds. Aaron Pogue is done for the day. He'll try again tomorrow here in Cancun in the third-place game of the Cancun Challenge. That'll send Daniel Orton to the line. 4 points in the game for Orton. 0 of 2 from the free throw line at this point. 10 different Kentucky players in the scoring column, and that came early. In the first half, they had 9 in the scoring column. Just in the first half of play alone, 10 players have scored. And I'm taking a look here. Looks like everybody's on the floor has scored in the game. I was checking to see if we might even pad those numbers a little further as Coach Calipari gives a few more people some playing time. Looks like we may see a couple more Wildcats on the floor who haven't been on yet before this one's over.
Well, Kentucky doing a much better job in the second half. Only 4 turnovers, allowing them to expand their lead.
Yeah, 13 turnovers at halftime by Kentucky, Coach, so you're right. A major adjustment there. 3-point basket. Jeremy Montgomery continues to work on the floor, hit some shots. Montgomery, 3 of 9 from the floor. A couple of 3-pointers scored. He's got 10 points in the game. Now co-game high honors for Montgomery, shared with DeAndre Brown, 10 points each.
Well, if you're Coach Gary Waters, you're going to take this game, you're going to take your players back, and you're going to have a learning situation. Little extra elbow by Orton on the post up. Cunningham with pretty good position and causing Orton to commit the offensive foul. But, you know, the one thing about this team right here, Aaron Pogue is a new player. He didn't play last year, and, you know, it's been, you know, a couple of years. So he's going to get better as the year goes on, playing against nationally ranked teams. And You know, that's the one thing that Gary Waters talked about with this team, that there is going to be a learning curve to this group.
Perry Stevenson with a lanky rebound. The 6'9" forward went up and got it for the Wildcats. Under 20 seconds on their shot clock. Stevenson dropped it down, and Nigel Agier took it away for the Vikings. Head fake and a shot from the left side. No good. That was tried by Josh McCoy. For the Wildcats from the University of Kentucky, this will make them 5-0 on the young season. Some angst early on, especially that 0.5 seconds left win over Miami of Ohio. You mentioned John Wall hitting this shot. Miami of Ohio had an 18-point lead in that game, and Kentucky worked their way back.
Well, and, you know, Charlie Coles at Miami is one of the best coaches in the country, and he did a very good job of sagging the defense and forcing Kentucky to shoot the ball from the outside. Kentucky early on was unable to make shots, and then in the second half they were able to turn it on, make a few baskets, and set up John Wall for the game winner.
And you were kind enough to point me along to YouTube to watch the post-game press conference with Coach Coles, and a fantastic response to a question, how'd you let that get away? And he just said, get away? Are you kidding me? What? Get away? It's Kentucky. Fantastic clip.
I've seen some good post-game press conferences with coaches over the years, and that's a classic. He is one of the finest. Has won a number of MAC titles at Miami and gave Kentucky all they wanted.
That round of applause was for John Wall, who checked out of the game with a team-high 15 points, 3 of 5 from the floor, 9 of 10 from the free throw line. 4 assists, or to make it 6 assists and 4 rebounds. Big day for John Wall, not in a gaudy numbers way, but just in a lead your team to victory way. And so now on the floor checking in is Mark Krebs, also in there John Hood, a couple of guys getting some minutes along with Orton, Bledsoe, and Stevenson.
John Wall was able to control the tempo of this game. When he had opportunities for transition, for the fast break, he took them, whether he scored or set up a teammate. When it wasn't there, he pulled it back out. He plays with a level of experience far beyond his years.
Orton with a piece of that shot. Charlie Woods for the Vikings is on the floor getting a little PT right here. A freshman is Charlie Woods out of Lansing, Michigan. They're watching John Wall in practice was the same way. He was wise beyond his years, or whatever you want to call that, even in practice, just with how he handled himself and how he handled the process. An impressive start to a freshman career for John Wall. Under 20 seconds to go, semifinal game number 1. Orton looking for a lob as the shot clock came down, and Bledsoe tossed it up there. You can't blame the big guy. He just wants one more chance to go up and have a little fun before they head off to the all-inclusive resort for the evening and get ready for tomorrow's championship game. Out of bounds, that shot went over the top. This will put Kentucky in the championship game of the Cancun Challenge. Again, 9:30 Eastern time on the CBS College Sports Network tomorrow. Cleveland State will play in the third place game tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern right here. Also on the CBS College Sports Network. So both of these teams right here again tomorrow for your pleasure from Cancun, Mexico. We'll be back with a game wrap. Kentucky wins 73-49.